Go.
Hi, good day everyone. My topic is about research process that involves the empirical, analytical, and dissemination phase. At the end of the lecture, the participant will have to fully understand the phases of the research process and to effectively apply the phases into the actual research studies. And the last thing is to understand that rigorous methodological specification, implementation, and control of extraneous variables are necessary for valid and reliable statistical conclusions. So let's start with empirical phase. The first phase is the empirical phase. This involves the collection of data and the preparation of data for analysis. A data collection plan needs to be developed specifying what data to be collected. Is it observational, experimental, simulation, or is it derived? How data will be collected? Is it through survey or one-on-one interview? Who will collect the data? And how data collectors will be trained? Usually, the data collector should be experienced with data collection. They should be knowledgeable, experienced with specific computer programs, able to work independently with good communication skills, and also flexible. These are just some of the criteria needed. And if experimental is the study design, the data collector should be blinded to participant group assignment to avoid the potential for bias. Another thing for needs to be developed while doing the data collection is how is the data collection procedure? What procedure forms are filled out and what interview questions are there for the collection of the data? Considerable attention to detail is required in the data collection phase of any research study in order to decrease the introduction of bias to ensure complete data sets for all participants. The fourth phase is the analytical phase. After the data are collected, the data is prepared for analysis. Analysis of the data by statistical methods. It is in the interpretation of the results and also in the analytic phase of all research. Patterns and relationships in the data are identified and the research question is answered through the synthesis of numerical and/or narrative data. Once data is analyzed, results need to be interpreted to determine the meaning and importance of the findings. The last phase is the dissemination phase. It is this area where to prepare the research reports in order to communicate findings to the appropriate audience. Research reports or presentations may be disseminated to other investigators, health professionals, policymakers, or consumers. A brief research report can also be submitted to professional organizations or the media. Press releases should also be considered as this offers an efficient mechanism for dissemination. Communicating studies results to participants is based on the principle of respect for persons and although not required, is increasing in practice. It is the utilization of the findings and communication of the findings as well. Thank you. That would be the end of the research process. So let's now proceed to the questions. Question number 1. In analytic phase, there is what we call the human and instrumentation errors. With these errors, how can the researcher prevent this thing from happening? Question number 2. To ensure that the project results will be used, research project must develop a dissemination plan that explains how the outcomes of the project will be shared with stakeholders, relevant institutions, organizations, and individuals. So, what are the necessary things needed to include in making a dissemination plan? Thank you.